So we're going to make this nice end table in Fusion 360 with rounded top edges and two levels of storage. To get started, we want to look at the user parameters under the Modify menu, Change Parameters. Here I have parameters for ply of 18 millimeters, my router bit size, things for height, length, width, corner, which will be the corners on the top, gap, which will be the space from the braces to the top of each level, the size of the brace, and a board size. You really only need ply for this because you need to be able to change that to use the CNC, but you can also put in other parameters that you find useful. The first thing we'll do is save our document. This will enable autosave. So now I'm ready to make a top level component. And we'll call this component side 1. We'll create an offset plane from the origin and we'll go out width divided by 2. On this offset plane, we'll create a sketch. I just want to draw half the table. So I'll start at the top. I'm going to draw over. Then I'm going to get a 3-point arc. Draw an arc. Press L for the line tool again. Draw down, over, up, over, up, over, up. Then get one more arc. Press L to get the line tool again. Draw over. And then sometimes this check mark will be in the way, so just click. And then we can make these 2 points coincident. Now we can start moving the sketch around and constraining it. So I want to move this line up and this one over. I want these 2 lines to be collinear. And I also want these 2 lines to be collinear. This line should be coincident with the origin, and this line should be coincident with the origin. We want to add tangent constraints to these 2 arcs and their side lines. We already have these 2 lines parallel, so that's good. And these seem to be horizontal and vertical, and they have perpendicular constraints. Let's go ahead and add an angle here of 100. And then we'll give it an overall height from the origin of height. And then we'll give it an overall width. We'll give it an overall length of length. And now we can start to move these pieces around into where they actually go. We'll just bring this all kind of over. The height of the second level will be height divided by 4. And then we can use the select tool to drag this sketch line up to the top. And let's give these boards some dimensions. So this one, dimension of board, the same as this. We can give this a dimension of board from this line to this line. And this dimension should be length divided by 2. So sometimes you want to make sure if you're doing a mirror that you have your length correct. And divide by 2. This one will have a radius of corner. And the same thing, this one will have a radius of corner. So now we'll check our sketch to make sure everything is fully constrained. It is. And we can now go back to the select tool, select these top and bottom lines, press X to make them construction lines, and then we'll create a mirror. You can double click on the outside contours and then double click on the inside contours. Then we'll select a mirror line. It's all mirrored, and we'll press OK, finish our sketch. Now, what we want to do is re-show our construction plane so we can see where it is, and it's very tiny, so you can drag these to be larger. So now we can see our construction plane, and we're ready to extrude this piece out. We'll select the whole profile, and we want to go negative ply divided by 2. The reason for this is we want the outside of the sides to be our width. So this way we're going towards the origin. We'll press OK. Now at the top level, we'll right click and make a new component. We'll call this side 2. We want to create a new offset plane. We'll go from the origin and we'll go width, negative width divided by 2. On this plane, we'll create a new sketch. We'll press P to project and we'll grab the whole side and press OK. We can finish our sketch. We can re-show this construction plane, and we can drag it larger so we have it as reference. Now we want to extrude. We'll click this face, and we'll come in, ply. So now both of our pieces went towards the origin. Here you can see that this one is ply divided by 2. So we can go ahead and activate the first side, edit this feature, and just make it ply. So now we have both of them at the same size moving towards the origin. And then we can hide these construction planes because we don't need them right now. At the top level, we'll make a new component. We'll call this top front brace 1. We're going to hide side 2 for right now. And then we're going to create a sketch right on side 1. We'll zoom in and we'll draw a rectangle. The dimensions of this rectangle will be ply. The height of it will be brace. The dimension from the top will be gap. And then we need to draw 2 more lines. So we'll draw a line horizontal here and a line horizontal here. These 2 lines will have a dimension of ply. And this space right here will have a dimension of brace minus ply divided by 2. You can click on these dimensions or type in the variables. It's up to you. And then we just need to tell it where this is in space. So we'll use a vertical constraint of this point and this point. And now that is all fully constrained. We can finish our sketch. And now we'll make an extrusion. The first extrusion will be the center part. And for this, we want to go 2 sides. This side will go ply divided by 2. So as you can see, it goes into that piece. The other side will go width minus ply. And then we can double check that by showing side 2. So we need to take off 1 more layer of ply. So we times it by 1.5. So that means we're just adding that half ply to that width. And now we're good to go. Next, we want to re-show the sketch. Now I can see my sketch. I want to make another extrusion. I'll click this piece and this piece. I want to go one direction, and it should be width minus ply times 2. Then we want to double check by looking. And there we go. So we have the width. That is the outside of these sides. We've taken off the 2 ply sides. And now this brace is right in the middle. We press OK. Then we want to activate the top level component. And we can create a mirror. Click on the create command, mirror. And we don't want faces. We want to create a mirror of a component. Which component? This top brace. What is our mirror plane? The center plane of the origin. And we'll press OK. Now we're ready to create the top surface. So right click on the top component, new component. And we want to call this top surface or top shelf. Let's create a midplane. And we can use this brace, the top and bottom of it. Press OK. You can change the sizes of your construction planes by dragging them. Let's create a new sketch on this construction plane. And for this, we're going to project in some geometry. We want to make sure the body selection filter is there. Click on all the sides and the braces and press OK. We need to draw a rectangle from this corner to this corner. And then we can simply offset. So we'll click on that rectangle. We'll drag to see which way it needs to go. This time it's negative ply divided by 2. And we'll press OK, and we can finish our sketch. So now we just need to extrude this rectangle. I'll press E. We'll grab this piece. And then sometimes these bodies get in the way, so it's best just to hide the other components. And then I can select all the pieces very easily. And then this last piece. And for this, we want to go symmetric. And the distance will be ply divided by 2. Now we can bring back all the other pieces so we can see how our model is looking. Activate the top level component. So this looks pretty good. We still need to make the subtractions so we have our tabs, but we'll do that at the end so we can have everything happen at one time. So now let's create a new top level component. We'll call this bottom front brace. And we'll hide side 2 again, and then we'll create a new sketch right on the side of side 1. We need to draw a rectangle, and it will be brace, tab, ply for its size. We need 2 more lines that are going horizontal. This inner space will have a dimension of ply. This space here will have a dimension of brace minus ply divided by 2. We want the gap here to be a dimension of gap. Now we need to locate this piece horizontally, so we'll go ahead and make it vertical with respect to this point, and then we can finish our sketch. Now we need to extrude, and this will be the same as before. We'll go 2 sides. This side will go ply divided by 2. And then this side will go width minus ply times 1.5. We need to re-show the sketch. Grab these 2 little pieces. And for this, we want to go width minus 2 ply. We can reactivate the top level component. And we want to create another mirror. This time we want to mirror this brace. So we'll create mirror. Components is selected. And then for our mirror plane, once again, we'll have the center plane. And press OK. I'm going to go ahead and hide the top shelf and re-show side 2. We want to create a new top level component. And we'll call this bottom shelf. And then we need a midplane. The midplane will be between the top and bottom of the bottom braces. Press OK. And remember, we can drag this midplane out. We'll create a new sketch right on this midplane. And then we want to project in the different pieces. We want both the braces and the sides. Press OK. Once we're done projecting, we can either hide all the other pieces or we can isolate bottom shelf. So now bottom shelf is isolated. We can press a rectangle tool, draw in a rectangle. Then we'll do an offset. And again, this is going to be negative ply divided by 2. We'll press OK. Then we're going to extrude by pressing E. Select all these pieces. Once all the pieces are selected, we want to go symmetric. And the distance will be ply divided by 2. Then we can unisolate the component. And then we can show the top shelf. Activate the top level component. And now we're ready to do the subtractions of the shelves from the sides. So we're going to do a combined feature. This will be the target body. And then tool bodies will be everything but the sides. So we want both shelves and all 4 braces. We want to keep the tools and press cut. We're going to do one more operation. This will be the target body, and then we'll pick all the pieces. And then we'll say OK. And then if we hide, for example, our top brace, we can see that everything has been cut out. Now we just need to add our dog bone fillets. Now that we have all our pieces put together, we need to add T-bone fillets to anything that has an inside corner, since the router can't cut out a perfectly square inside corner, and we need to have a place for our tabs to go. The first piece we'll do this to is the top front brace. We'll go ahead and activate that component. Then we'll rotate around so we can see the inside, and then we'll right-click to isolate the component. Once it's isolated, we can create a sketch right on its face. Press P to project in the geometry. And then we need the circle tool. We need to make circles that are coincident with this line, but not at the midpoint. So make sure you don't see the triangle for the midpoint constraint. Click and drag out, and then make the dimension bit. Press C again to get another circle. Dimension bit. Then we use the tangent constraint to make them tangent with the edge of the tab. Once that's done, those are fully constrained circles. Move over to the other edge of the piece. Get the circle tool, make it coincident with the edge, dimension of bit, and draw another one. Once they're there, then you make them tangent with this side. We can now finish our sketch. We'll press E to extrude, and we need to select this bottom circle. If you're having trouble selecting it, press and hold with your mouse button, and then you can pick which face you want to select. We want this profile, that profile, this profile, and this profile. Extrude negative ply. Make sure the action is cut and press OK. We can right-click to unisolate this component. Now we need to repeat it on the mirror brace. We can activate the mirror brace, and then we can create a sketch. We want to create a sketch right on the face of the mirror. We can then project the other component's dog bones. So we'll project this geometry right onto it, and we'll say OK. And then we can finish our sketch. So you'll notice that now we have these pieces that we can extrude. We can right-click to isolate, and then select these profiles. Click the extrude command, select all 4 profiles, and extrude them negative ply. Then press OK. Now right-click to unisolate. Now we want the bottom front brace, so click to activate that component. Right-click isolate. We'll create a sketch right on its face. Press P to project. Then we'll get our circle tool. Make them coincident with this line. A size of bit. And then make them tangent. We'll draw 2 more circles on this side. Coincident with the edge. Dimension of bit. And then we'll make them tangent. Once they're tangent, the sketch will be fully constrained and you can finish the sketch. Press E for extrude. Press and hold to select the profiles. Once they're selected, we'll extrude negative ply. We can unisolate this component, activate the mirror of the bottom brace, and then we want to create a sketch on the bottom brace mirror. Rotate to the side, press P to project, and select the other brace. Once we have that face projected, press OK. Then we can right-click to isolate the mirror. Then we'll press E to extrude, and we can select these profiles. We'll extrude negative ply. Make sure the operation is cut and press OK. We can unisolate the bottom brace mirror. Now we need to do the same thing to the sides. We'll do it to side 1 first, and then we'll project onto the other side. So first, activate side 1, right-click to isolate. We want to project on the face, and make sure that you have the feature selection filter so we get the squares. Press OK. We'll zoom in, and this time, instead of having the circles here, we want them on the long end so they're covered up by the braces. So grab your circle tool. We want it coincident with this line, dimension of bit. Again, coincident with this line, dimension bit. And then tangent with the far edge. We will not see these circles in the final end table. Grab your circle tool again, coincident with this line, dimensions of bit, coincident with the line, dimensions of bit, and then tangent with the edge. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Grab our circle tool, coincident with the top line, dimensions of bit, coincident with the bottom line, dimensions of bit, and then tangent with the side of the tab. One more set of circles at the top. Press C, coincident with this line, dimensions of bit. Press C, coincident with this line, dimensions of bit. Then select the tangent constraint, make them tangent with the edge. We can now finish our sketch. We'll press E for extrude, and we'll select these pieces. There are 4 pieces on the top, and there are 4 pieces on the bottom. We want to go a distance of negative ply divided by 2. Make sure the operation is cut and press OK. We can unisolate side 1, activate side 2, and now what we want to do is create a sketch on the back of side 2. So we'll create a sketch, select the back face of side 2. Now we want to rotate, and we'll press P to project. And this time we want to project the face of side 1. We'll say OK. Then we can right-click to isolate side 2, rotate around, and now we have all these pieces here. So we can press E to extrude and select all these profile pieces from side 1. Once they're all selected, we'll extrude a distance of negative ply divided by 2. Make sure the operation is cut. Now we have all of the T-bone fillets. Right-click to unisolate, activate the top level component, and as you can see, we won't see these pieces. All those fillets will be hidden in the final object. So this is a great way when you're having non-through mortise and tenons of making invisible dog bones. Now we just need to lay the pieces flat for cam. To do that, make another top level component. We'll make a new top level component. We'll call this component CNC. Inside CNC, we'll make a new component, and we'll call this component Plywood. Inside Plywood, we'll create a sketch on the ground plane. We'll make this sketch 48 inches by 48 inches, because that's the size of the plywood we're using. We want to dimension it from the origin. We'll have it over 500. Then we'll make this line coincident with the origin. Finish our sketch, extrude, distance of ply. Again, this is only for reference of our layout. Then we want to right-click and ground it so it doesn't move around. Next, we'll shift-click all the pieces of our model, right-click to copy, then activate the top-level CNC component, right-click to paste. Move to the side, press OK. I like to hide the original model so I don't get confused of which ones I'm laying down flat. And then we'll create joints. We'll click on joints. And make sure you have your joint selector selected like this on the back. For the motion, we want planar joints and press OK. As you can see, the part that will be cut by the CNC is facing up. We want to do this for all the pieces. Click the back side. Then click on the plywood. And we can press OK. Press J for joint. Select the piece. And then place it on the plywood. Select J for joint. Select the piece. Place it on the plywood. J for joint. Select the piece. Place it on the plywood. And we'll press J for joint. Select the piece. Select the plywood. Press OK. And we'll do J for joint. Select the piece. Select the plywood. Place it on the plywood. Press OK. We'll rotate around and grab these from the back side. Press J for joint. Select the piece. Select the plywood. Lay it on the plywood. Press OK. Select J for joint. Select the piece. Select the plywood. And place it on the plywood. Press OK. Now you can see here that we've forgotten to cut one slot out of these pieces here. So we can go back and do that now. This is one of the advantages of copying the components. So we'll go ahead and show the original model. We'll go ahead and activate the top level component, and we'll do a combine action. The tool bodies will be the shelves and the targets will be the braces. We'll do 4 of these operations. Do one more. Press OK. And then we'll do one more, target body and tool body, and press OK. Twirl out CNC, and we can see each of these pieces, and we can press M and move them around because they are planar joints, and put them the way we want. Just rotate through the pieces, pressing M to move them. Then OK. The next one is the bottom brace. We'll press M. Move it to right here. Press OK. Top shelf, press M. We can move it to over here. Press OK. Top front brace, press M. We can line it up over here. Press OK. Bottom shelf, press M. OK. Then we have side 2. We'll move it in. Now we may need to rearrange how our braces are, which will be fine. Press OK. Then the bottom front brace, we'll press M. OK. We'll go up to the top front brace, press M and rotate it. And then we can slide it over. We can even put it over here. Press OK. Press M to rotate this piece. Then OK. And then finally this brace, press M to rotate. Now all our pieces fit onto our plywood. We can arrange these pieces even more tightly once we have this general arrangement. Don't forget to capture the position so Fusion remembers where these movements are. And now you're ready to move into the manufacturer workspace, create your tool paths.